Dementia doesn't break communication because people stop understanding words. It breaks communication because the brain stops feeling safe. Most caregivers focus on what to say, but dementia changes how the brain perceives information. And if communication keeps escalating instead of calming, trust erodes. Resistance increases, and everyday interactions become emotionally exhausting for everyone involved. I want to walk you through how this actually shows up in real life. A caregiver asks a simple question. The person with dementia hesitates. The caregiver repeats it louder, then explains, then corrects. And suddenly, what started as a normal moment turns into frustration, anger, or shutdown. The caregiver walks away thinking they are being difficult. The person with dementia walks away feeling confused, threatened, or even ashamed. What's happening here is not defiance, it's a stressed brain losing access to the skills it needs to communicate. Once you understand that, everything changes. The first thing caregivers need to know is this: communication problem and dementia are stress problems, not intelligence problems. As dementia progresses, the brain's ability to filter information, regulates emotion, and tolerate pressure decreases. This means too many words feel overwhelming, corrections feels like attacks, being rushed feels unsafe, when caregivers increase pressure, even with good intentions, the brain shifts into survival mode. And a brain in survival mode cannot reason, explain, or comply. Here's the first practical shift that changes communication immediately. Here's tip number one: reduce language before you add reassurance. Most caregivers actually do the opposite. They explain more, they repeat more, they justify more. But the brain with dementia needs less input, not more. Instead of saying, we already talked about this, remember? We're going to the doctor at 3, and then we'll stop at the pharmacy like we always do. Try, we are going to the doctor now. I will be with you. Simple as that, short sentence. One idea at a time, calm tone. This reduces cognitive load and lowers stress instantly. If you struggle with knowing how to simplify it without sounding cold, I have a free communication resource on my website that talks you through exactly how to phrase things for memory impaired brain. The link is in the description. The second thing caregivers need to understand is this: emotional safety. This matters more than factual accuracy. Caregivers often feel a strong urge to correct mistakes. They want facts to be right. They want timeliness to make sense. They want the person to understand. But in dementia, emotional memory lasts longer than factual memory. The person might forget what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. So here's tip number two: validate the emotion, not the detail. If someone says, my mother is coming to get me, and their mother passed away years ago, correcting the fact often causes grief all over again. So instead of saying, no, your mother died, try, you are thinking about your mom. You must miss her. You're not lying. You are responding to the emotional truth. This preserves dignity and prevents unnecessary distress. The third thing caregivers need to understand is this: your nervous system sets the tone for the interaction. The dementia brain mirrors stress. If you rush, anxious, or frustrated, the brain senses immediately. So before saying anything, ask yourself, am I regulated right now? Here's tip number three: pause before responding. One deep breath before you speak can completely change the outcome of an interaction. Slow your voice, lower your volume, give extra processing time. Silence is not failure, it's space. And space allows the brain to catch up. Another powerful tool caregivers overlook is how choices are offered. Tip number four: reduce choices to two simple options. Too many options overwhelm the dementia brain. Instead of saying, what do you want to wear today? Try, do you want to wear the blue shirt or the gray one? This preserves autonomy without causing overload. Now, let's talk about one of the hardest communication traps, and that is tip number five. Stop asking, do you remember? Questions like, do you remember who I am? Do you remember what we just talked about, these questions trigger shame and anxiety because, as you know, they probably cannot remember. So instead, offer transformation gently. It's me, it's your daughter. We just finished lunch. This protects dignity and reduces fear. Another key shift caregivers need to make is how they approach physically. So, tip number 6, approach from the front, not the side or behind. The dementia brain startles easily. Always approach within the visual field. Make eye contact. Say their name first. This reduces startle responses and defensiveness. And finally, one of the most overlooked communication tools, tip number 7, and interactions on calm, not correction. Even if the task wasn't completed perfectly, prioritize emotional safety. A calm ending matters more than a correct ending because a calm brain is more cooperative later. Let me be very clear about what effective communication in dementia is not. It's not explaining more, it's not correcting faster, it's not forcing insight. Effective communication is meeting the brain where it is, not where it used to be. It's adjusting expectations without abandoning dignity. Caregivers who learn these strategies early experience less conflict, less burned out, more moments of connection, and connection still matters, even as dementia progresses. If you want help applying these strategies, I created a free communication guide on my website specifically for caregivers of people with memory impairment. It walks you through real scenarios and what to say instead. You can find it linked in the description. This is the final video in my Dementia Pillar series. If you haven't watched the first two videos, start there. They're short videos. The first one explains what dementia actually is and what is not. The second video breaks down the early signs families miss and how to respond without making things worse. Together, these three videos, although simple, give you a foundation most caregivers never received. If you want ongoing guidance, tools, and community support, you can join me at rosabelsofield.com/rosabelievers. You do not have to navigate this alone.